My name is Austin Hepworth. I'm an attorney here in Utah, and we're here with Marci Green Campbell and Tina Cannon. We just delivered a letter to the Lieutenant Governor's office. We're asking him to take some steps this coming election. With coronavirus and the impact it had on the primaries, citizens were cut out of the process with the candidate selection process. I feel strongly that this is a serious issue for Utah, one that we want to correct. And so we have delivered this letter asking the Lieutenant Governor to help with the write-in candidate process, to help Utahns know about write-in candidates, to help them know how to vote for them, because they didn't get the chance to select these candidates when caucuses were canceled. But today we'll hear a little bit about the issues in the process to date. Tina Cannon will speak to us first. She ran in the federal congressional district. And then Marci Green Campbell will also speak to us to outline some of the requests that we have.
Thank you, Austin. So I'm Tina Cannon, and I ran as a congressional candidate in Congressional District 1 for Utah. And I'm here in support of write-in candidates across the state who, going through this process, found it to be very, very difficult. As a dual-path candidate, we started out gathering signatures, but we followed the advice of the Lieutenant Governor's office, and we stopped gathering as we were going into a pandemic on March 13th. But at that point in time, the caucus convention process was still a viable path. On the cancellation of the caucus night, those parts of the process that included regular citizens to be able to nominate and support new candidates who were running in the 2020 season didn't happen. Now, we're not here to cast blame or to say it should have happened any differently. What we are here to say is, let's fix this process at this point. Let's define it now for those who feel like their voice cannot be heard any other way but through the write-in process. So I am proud to be here today as the other 4'11" Cannon woman who's standing for suffrage, for what it means to have access to a ballot, not just in being able to vote, but having fair access to the ballot as a candidate. We're asking the Lieutenant Governor, and I am encouraging through my support on the letter, for him to define the process going in, so that we are very aware before the heat of the campaign or the election day happens, exactly how a write-in will be treated in this process. We're asking for the 29 counties across Utah to have a process that is inclusive and fair and consistent across all counties. We believe that responsibility to ask for that goes through the Lieutenant Governor's office, and that is what we were here to ask for today. So now I am proud to turn the time over to Marci Campbell. And
thank you, Tina and Austin. Appreciate you being here to talk with us today. Thank you so very much. My name is Marci Green Campbell, and I am running as a write-in candidate for Senate District 23. I also ran as a candidate during the convention process. And sorry, I heard that I'm supposed to be louder, that you can't hear me. So I'll be a little bit louder. I was running and experienced the same thing that many of the candidates experienced during the convention process. As many of you know, the caucuses were canceled and delegates were not able to either run in support of us, or citizens were not able to vote for delegates that would be in support of us when the 2018 delegates were used, the delegate list. Furthermore, the delegate lists were incomplete, and it was difficult to be able to get into contact with all the delegates prior to convention. And a very important point is that the delegate list changed so often that my final list that I was given, or at least the last list that I was given, was emailed to me 5 hours after voting had already begun, with changes made to the delegate list. It's very important for all of us to know that citizens and candidates were not given fair access to the ballot. We are not here today to be whining about this process. We don't want to give that impression whatsoever, but we just want to educate the public about how it went because of COVID, right? So we believe the Republican Party I'm sure did the very best that they could in such a challenging time. But it's times like this, and in our democracy, we have the capacity to be a write-in candidate, to get our message out to the citizens. And we feel that that is a very important part of protecting elections and protecting freedoms in this great country that we live in. So that's very important to us. The second item that I was personally inspired by, especially for my daughter, I'll tell you that story in just a minute, is that this is the year of the woman in the state of Utah. And I was inspired by Boyd Matheson on KSL Radio on July 24th when he said, "The pioneering spirit is needed now more than ever." And much like the pioneering spirit, he said, that kind of big, bold, audacious plan is needed now more than ever. Hence, I was inspired. This write-in process is something that is big and bold and can be very unifying for the citizens of the state of Utah. So we've also been inspired by the Better Days 2020 campaign, which has highlighted important females throughout Utah's history. Also, several different organizations have voiced their concern that we have too few females as legislative representatives in the state of Utah. The disparity has been highlighted at yes, through a new recent study out of Utah State University and also from the Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce. This disparity, I think, is especially important given the nature of the year that we're in, of the Year of the Woman. So after the Republican primary, I was inspired by my 20-year-old daughter who said to me, "Mom, do you realize that no new female made it through or was voted through the Republican primary to the general election in the state of Utah?" That is concerning for her and for myself, that in the Year of the Woman, we still have too much of a disparity regarding female representation. Female representation can bring so much to the legislature in terms of a completeness, in terms of a new perspective, in terms of vision. And we feel that we desire this same pioneering spirit to move forward in the state of Utah. I personally want to do what Boyd Matheson so wonderfully penned, again, on the 24th of July, when he said that we need to blaze a trail and break down the barriers and pass on vital pioneering principles to the next generation. Thank you, Boyd Matheson, for doing that, because it was incredibly inspiring to me, and I'm sure to many others. I do want to provide that opportunity going forward. So, my candidacy as a write-in candidate can benefit Utah in a couple of ways. First of all, we believe that females can provide this more complete perspective and experience, and because of COVID-19, citizen involvement was less than it normally would have been. They were not able to actively participate in the ways they would have otherwise. Some say that they don't like gender politics, and my reply to that would be the ability that Utah had to give women the right to vote was gender politics, and we celebrate that today. So more females in the state legislature it will be a celebrated thing down the road. And then also, I believe that my candidacy moving forward can benefit the Republican Party, because looking to the future, my write-in candidacy can help unite the Republican Party by appealing to the younger generation who is looking at the disparity between males and females in our legislature at this time. And we want to do the most that we can to help our younger generations see how great the platform is of the Republican Party. And for that to occur, I believe the Republican Party needs to be aware and recognize the disparity between males and females in the state legislature. Finally, because of how COVID affected elections, I believe this can also unite the Republican Party by restoring citizen confidence in how we embrace the checks and balances in our government and in our democracy. So because of COVID, elections didn't happen exactly the way that they're set forth in our constitutions. But we can restore citizen confidence by embracing the opportunity for write-in candidates moving forward in the year 2020. So 2020 has certainly not been an ordinary year, but at this time, I want to announce that I am ready to do something extraordinary as a write-in candidate. Thank you so much for your support and for being here today.